What is going on, guys? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys a Tuesday NBA edition of my DFS podcast. Last night we did really well on that big main slate. Scores were really high. If you watched yesterday's video, all of the plays ended up hitting value. Tice ended up being the best value play. He was actually lower owned than I thought. He was like 25% owned. He was on all my lineups last night. This was the hybrid, the lineup with the most production last night. I think it was at like 416 or something. The other two FanDuel lineups, Cash and GPP, also easily scored over 400. It was a big scoring slate, as a lot of people anticipated. This was the Cash lineup, and then the GPP lineup was here, and then Yahoo also cashed in all contests too. And like I said in yesterday's video, that Thunder and Blazers game on paper looked pretty gross. Two teams that, you know, are out of playoff contention, but it ended up being the best DFS game on the slate with all those cheap guys playing so much, you know, so many minutes with so much usage, and then it goes into overtime as well. And then the Celtics with the other chalky team in that game also went into overtime. So we were destined for huge scores last night. Probably won't see the same high scores tonight. We only got 5 games here. Not nearly as much value, but hopefully these 5 players in this video will all hit 5x their value and help you get into the money. So drop a like on this video. I do appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed. Let's get after it here again with MLB around the corner and some serious PGA contests coming up, including the Masters next week. We got a lot to look forward to here, so let's continue to do well here. So for point guard tonight, I'm assuming Thomas Satoransky is going to be starting again for the Wizards. Was on the Pelicans earlier this year, started out on the Wizards, now he's back with his old team, and he's been playing pretty well starting over the last couple of games. 28 and 30 minutes. At basically a minimum price, he needs only 18 fantasy points to hit value. He's done that easily in the 2 games that he started. He's seen high 20s, even 30 minutes last game. He makes for a pretty intriguing play for the Wizards, assuming that he starts again tonight. For shooting guard, let's look at a guy who isn't really showing up on projection radars right now. I think Malik Monk is a great play here tonight. LeBron James is doubtful after really hurting his ankle last game. There's going to be a lot of Lakers guys that need to step up and fill in that massive usage. Obviously, the number one guy that needs to play well is Russell Westbrook. He's like 81 or 8,200. He's actually been playing well over the last week or so, so he's viable tonight. Malik Monk, though, is arguably probably their best scorer with no LeBron. He might be coming off the bench still, but there's going to be a lot of minutes for him even off the bench. Even with LeBron playing, you can see how solidified his minutes have been. With no LeBron and 36 to 38 minutes to go to be dished out throughout other guys, Malik Monk should soak up a good amount of those LeBron minutes. He's only 5,700. He needs 27 fantasy points to hit value. He's done that in the last 2 games. He should have a much higher chance of hitting value with no LeBron on the court. The other guys they have who they're probably going to start, Austin Reeves, Stanley Johnson, Dwight Howard, and Wayne Gabriel. I mean, those just aren't primary scorers. Malik Monk is a better scorer than Russell Westbrook, so you can make the argument that Monk is the number one offensive priority alongside Carmelo Anthony off of that bench tonight for the Lakers. There's still a chance that he starts too, but nonetheless, either way, whether it's off the bench or starting, Malik Monk is a guy you should probably be looking at for tonight, with LeBron James most likely sitting out of this game. Small forward, let's go to Giannis. He's the best stud on this slate. This Bucks and 76ers game is the best game on this slate. It was an absolute shootout the last time these two heavy hitters from the East played each other. Giannis, I looked at the game before. It was the game before the All-Star break, the last time they played each other, February 17th. Both Giannis and Embiid went head-to-head, blow for blow scoring a bunch. 67.7 for Giannis. I think Embiid got like 65. I remember because my 2 prize pick plays that day, I was like, screw it. Giannis over fantasy points, Embiid over fantasy points. Let's just watch these 2 guys go after it, and it ended up working out easily. Giannis and Embiid are probably the best studs again tonight. You got Doncic on the slate as well, but there's a chance they blow out the Lakers. They're at home, and the Lakers stink, and they're going to stink even more without LeBron. So Giannis and Embiid are probably my favorite studs. Giannis, I give the slight edge to over Embiid tonight. Both teams are fully healthy here, so it's going to be a really, really fun game to watch between these 2 teams. For power forward, I mentioned him earlier, Wenyen Gabriel, or Wenyen Gabriel, however the hell you say it. He should be starting tonight. They really have him and Dwight Howard as big guys. He should see maybe a couple extra minutes with no LeBron James out there. The Mavericks have a pretty deep, not deep, but they run a lot of big guys. Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber, even like Dorothy Finney-Smith is kind of a big guy too. Gabriel, not last game, but the 2 games before that, 31 and 29 minutes. He hit value. He's minimum price. If you want to try to get, more than 1 stud, you might need to put a guy like Gabriel in your lineup. I don't know if I'm going to be doing him in cash games or GBP yet. All I know is that he's one of the cheaper guys that I'm going to be targeting tonight, especially with no LeBron James. There's a usage boost to all of these Lakers guys, and Gabriel should, see at least 20 minutes, I think, at the worst with no LeBron, and he can be a fantasy point per minute with no issue. So at 3,500, he needs like 17 fantasy points to hit value. He could end up being a pretty solid punt play tonight. And then for center, I mentioned Embiid as a really good stud tonight alongside Giannis, but I also really like Nikola Vucevic at a cheaper price tag. You can't go wrong with Embiid, obviously, but I'm going to shy away from the popularity a little bit here. And Vucevic, if you guys need to save some money, he's got a fantastic matchup tonight against the Wizards. He's been playing really well. He's been priced far too cheap over the last week or so. 7,600. He needs 37 fantasy points to hit value. He's averaging almost 41 on the year, and he's been playing really well as of late, getting high 30s or low 40s fantasy points just about every single night. And there's a chance that Zach LaVine sits out tonight due to injury management or resting purposes, whatever you want to call it. He's questionable, and then so if he's out, Vucevic and DeRozan become really good plays. Even if LaVine's in, Vucevic is still a pretty solid play tonight. If you have the money to spend up on Embiid, go for it. But Vucevic is almost a full $4,000 cheaper, and he has mid-40s upside. So he's a solid middle tier play for center tonight. That'll sum up today's video, guys. Let's continue to roll here. We've been doing really, really well over the last, really all month long. So let's continue to roll tonight. But until next time, I am the FD Guru, and I'm signing off. See ya.